Right here. I'm Jerel Thomas. I'm from Meridian. I teach out at CUNA. You made reference to the standards. You asked which one specifically you have a problem with. I'm one who has a problem with all of them. We started with outcome-based education in the 90s. That was the introduction of standards. Those weren't deemed good enough. They were supposedly beefed up under No Child Left Behind. The data that has been compared is SAT drops had their biggest drop in 2006 after the implementation of the ISAT standards. You just said that 90% of our college graduates are doing proficient on ISATs. They go to college, 50% of them need remedial courses. Those weren't the same statistics before standards were ever implemented. So all the data shows that the implementation of standards since the 90s have done nothing but damage student performance. Why do we think that implementation of these standards is going to be any different than the failure of outcome-based education and the current Idaho standards?
This is an outcome-based education, we'll just disagree. We'll just disagree. We have seen a significant increase in student achievement since we implemented the standards.
Where?
In reading, in math, in
SAT scores are at the lowest point they've been in 30 years. Their biggest drop came in 2006. That's significant because that is the first graduating class that was educated entirely under Idaho standards.
I don't know where you get your data from, right? But
SAT and the College Board, and looking at time.
I'm just telling you that our scores in Idaho, right, have increased steadily, which tells me that our schools are doing better. But what I've always argued is they're not improving fast enough, and our standards were too low. So we just have to disagree on the results. Folks, if you don't want standards, then we don't measure. And if you don't want to measure, then here's $1.5 billion of state money every year. We'll push it out to the schools, and we'll just see what happens. That's what we had before.
And it worked.
It was the conservative Republicans that said, we're not going to just keep spending billions and billions and billions of dollars on an education system without accountability. We finally have accountability. It's at a higher level.
The biggest predictor of college success is a student's GPA. That's been proven by study after study, not SAT scores.
No, we have plenty of students that are 3 and 4 points.
You're wrong. The studies are there. Paul Tuff compiled them in his book of How Children Succeed. A child's GPA, it doesn't matter if you're talking about rural Iowa or San Francisco, a child's GPA is the best predictor of post-high school success, not SAT scores.
I don't want to get into a real give and take, but let me tell you a phone call I got the other day from a parent. Her child raised their English grade, a course English grade, from a B to an A because they brought more canned food to the food cart. Right? That's her GPA. And that is not an indication of how well that child is doing academically because she brought more canned food.
So you're using an outlier.
No,
the stats are there.
Well, I'd like to interject here.